What's going on, everyone? My name's Mark and this is Mako Reselling. I buy things at thrift stores, places like Goodwill, resell the items on eBay. Primarily, I sell clothing. In today's video, I've got a list of 25 men's blazers that sell over $75. These are brands you definitely want to know, you definitely want to be on the lookout for. Now, I'll discuss a few things to be looking for in these blazers, and we'll get into the brands. One great thing about this video is I had planned on doing this in the summertime, got all the data, but just never made the video. So we're going to get to see for a lot of these brands how the market has changed, any dynamics in terms of the sell-through rate, things like that. First of all, let's go into just a few basics around blazers. You're going to be looking for nice fabrics, things like cashmere, possibly even cotton, linen, things like that. Style-wise, you're going to want things like tartan plaid. You're going to want the academia look, elbow patches, also the style madras that pretty much sells for any type of blazer, even like an Izod or Saddlebred. So let's go ahead, let's dive into the brands here. The first brand, and let me just preface this by saying I'm going to be posting pictures and tags as we go along. First brand here is 11T. It's an incredible brand, and if you find it, you stand to make over about $100 with this based on the research I'm doing here in January 2026, possibly even in that 200 range, and it really kind of depends on how long you want to sit on it. Now, in January 2026, there's about 120 listed, 76 sold, so good sell-through rate there, especially for a blazer. Comparing this to the summer, there were about 110 listed on eBay in the summer, and this was done about June 25th is what the data have written here, and about 50 sold, so the sell-through rate was definitely lower, but not remarkably different. Remember 11T, a good one to know. Next one is Tagliatore. It's an Italian brand. A lot of these are going to be Italian brands, and they sell for great money. Now, in January 2026, the market size is 257 with about 33 sold. So the sell-through rate is not great, but the prices on these are great. In June 2025, the market size was relatively smaller, about 150, and the sell-through rate is pretty low around that time too. It was around 30%. But keep in mind, these are expensive blazers. A lot of people price these too high, and they're just happy to wait and sit till the right buyer comes along. You know, if something's, the market value is 150, someone buys it for $5 or $6, they might just be like, oh, I'll just sell it for like 75 or something like that. Or they might not have that mentality to list it out at 75. Their mentality might be to go ahead and just stay at 150. Don't take any offers under like 130 or something because they know they'll eventually sell it. Okay, third brand here. I'm sure you've heard of this one, Bonobos. Now, they have some excellent blazers and also a good sell-through rate, around 70%. Demand is high. Now, I will say that a lot of these are just going to go around 60. You might not be able to get that $75 mark, but some styles, patterns can definitely go 75 and up easily. And market size is around 1,000 with about 569 sold. So almost a 60% sell-through rate. Look for blue, look for window pane, especially cotton. Bonobos has some really good cotton blazers that I've sold in my experience. Fourth brand here is Boglioli. Now, I hope I pronounced that right. It's an Italian brand. It has a decent market size on eBay, around 400. And even better is that I bet a lot of resellers are not familiar with this brand, or maybe heard of it at one time in a video and just forgot about it. Regardless, it sells great, often over $100. The sell-through rate is about 33%, which is not bad considering the niche and the profit margin. And in the summer, the market size was around 500 with about 250 sold. So about a 50% sell-through rate during the summer, a little bit higher, which is, a little bit strange, but some people find this stuff, they price it up. Okay, sixth brand here, which I find I don't want to say quite a bit, but I do find pretty often and sell Suit Supply. It's a Dutch company and it makes some really incredible blazers and, of course, suits. I haven't been able to piece a suit together yet, but I found, pants, I found shirts, blazers, have not been able to actually put the suit together. Now, the blazer market is pretty big, around 7,400 and 2,000 sold. And it looks like the market size is about half of what it was compared to during the summer, or it's about twice of what it was during the summer, which I found to be really interesting. During the summer, it was about 3,000 according to my records. I'm sure a lot of people have started picking this up, which is not really good from a price perspective, but my search could have been off, or possibly people in the summer are buying this, they're storing it, and then they're just listing it out. I think that does happen quite a bit. I've got a bunch of summer stuff I just haven't gotten around to listing. Nicer fabrics, Loro Piana wool, things like that can sell really well, especially if you're able to piece together a suit. Also, pay attention to the model here. There's one model called the Havana, which sells really good. Now, next one here, I have some personal experience with as well. Isaiah Napoli, another awesome Italian brand to look for. Now, the logo for this brand is the red coral, which stands for good luck in Naples. So you can't see this on the tag. But most of the time, you see either Isaiah or you see Napoli. And Isaiah is actually, it's not spelled like Isaiah Thomas or Isaiah from the Bible. It's spelled Isaia. So it is different. Now, in the summer, there was a market of around 350 and only about a 20% sell-through rate. But looking at many of the listings, many are in like they're asking $200. And I think it really needs to be closer, probably to like 125, 150. I did sell one of these a couple months ago for $125. I think I listed it out originally at like 175, dropped the price to like 150, and then got an offer at 125. If you want a super fast sale, go for like 75 bucks, maybe even 100. So fast forward, I think I gave the numbers there. Okay, the summer it was 350 market size, about a 20% sell-through rate, and it stayed pretty much the same market size wise, 346, and there were 89 sold. So the sell-through rate has increased a little bit, not by much, about 25%. Now, next brand here is Ted Baker. I probably should take this one off the list based on what I'm seeing, but I originally did find that these are selling better. I think the secret kind of might be out on some of these, and a lot of them just don't go over 75, so I would not pay more than like $5 or $7 for this, but some of the ones do from what I'm seeing. Double-breasted, big size, and in my opinion, if it's going for 50 or 60, it's still money well spent. Now, one model that is pretty popular with this brand is the Endurance. Some of these sell pretty well. I did find one, but I think that it's starting to get a little saturated with the Endurance. They're not selling like they were, or at least according to my research. For the market right now, 282 sold, 1,200 listed. Don't have the comps from the summer on this one. Ben Silver's number 9 on our list. Now, it's an American company based out of Charleston, South Carolina, and they sell all types of stuff like ties, cufflinks, blazers, dress shirts. I actually found a dress shirt a few months ago, was pretty pumped, turned it around, it had a big rip in it, was not very pumped. So it's a good name to know, and if you're in the South, of course, you're much more likely, I think, to run across this brand, since it is based out of Charleston, South Carolina, and I don't think they manufacture and really ship. I mean, they, of course, probably ship to the West Coast and stuff, but they don't have, like, stores on the West Coast for the best of my knowledge. Now, the market, in the summertime, the market size was pretty small, around 80 to 100, but the sell-through rate is really good, 80%, which is really awesome for a blazer or sport coat. Now, fast forward to now, it's even better. 40 is the market size with 40 sold, so you've got a 100% sell-through rate. Definitely one to keep an eye out for. All right, number 10 on our list is Henry Poole, which is a British company with really a rich history in clothing. It's believed they created the first dinner jacket or tuxedo. They're on Savile Row in London, which is renowned for world-class tailoring. People fly in from around the world and buy suits, clothing from there. Um, that's definitely a keyword you want to use, although I'll say a lot of fast fashion will name their brands like so and so Seville or Seville Road and kind of piggyback on that name to try and get people to buy it. Now, in the summer markets, it was around 50. The blazers, though, can easily go for 200 and suits 500. So it's a very small market. For some reason, I did not write how many sold down. Now the market size is about 50, so it stayed about the same with around 25 sold, about a 50% sell-through rate. And this is just a good one to know. You might see this one once every couple of years, but definitely remember it. You might not see it in blazers, but you could see it in like shirts or pants or something else. Okay, number 11. I didn't write a lot down for this. It is Luigi Bianchi, obviously another Italian company here. Market size is about 240 with 28 sold. Remember that name. Decent enough market size there. Number 12, I have found this brand in the shirts. Borelli Napoli. Very small market and another Italian brand. Kind of sounds like, in a way, like a fast fashion ripoff type brand. But this is a genuine good Italian brand. Very good. 18 is the market size, so extremely small with 6 sold. Now, all 6 did sell over $100, so definitely one that is worth picking up. And again, I did find a shirt it sold for like $40 pretty quickly. And, even though it's a small market for these things, you can find them. Now, number 13 on our list is Lardini, another Italian brand. Market size is 282 with 37 sold. Most go over $100. Remember Lardini. Number 14 is Armenegilda Zegna, a pretty popular Italian brand. I think that a lot of people watching this are probably familiar with this and have found this before. I've found shirts, I've found our dress shirts, I've found pants, I've found a number of blazers, and the market size is pretty big, around 9,000 with 1,200 sold. So it's definitely getting to be a little bit, saturated, but I think there's still good enough demand. Now, there's also sublines of this brand. One is the Z Zegna. I've found this one before. I don't really think that if you find this, it's worth just skipping. It's not like complete trash or anything. I think it's still worth picking up, unless they're asking like $20 or something. But if they're asking like $7 or something for a Zegna, Z Zegna blazer, it's probably worth picking up, assuming it's in really good condition. That's it for Zegna. Okay, moving on. This is one of my personal favorites, Brooks Brothers Makers. I do find this quite a bit from time to time, especially with shirts, but I have found a number of blazers. The market size is 450 with 54 sold. Many of these are vintage. They're union made. You can just pull out the pocket and see the union tag on it, and you know automatically it's vintage. A good pattern here is going to get you over 75. Possibly, like, you got to get the navy with gold buttons. Those do very well. Just maybe like the suit jacket, maybe not get 75, but it's still going to get you good money, and it's going to get a lot of attention. These are very popular from people. Number 16 is Flint and Tinder. This is a Huckberry brand. Huckberry is an online clothing site, sell a lot of very luxury men's clothing. And the market size is pretty small, which actually surprised me for this when I was doing this research. It's around 24 with 36 sold, so over 100% sell-through rate. Now, surprisingly, from my personal experience, I found 2 of these in a row on a rack in a Goodwill in my area about maybe 5 or 6 months ago. One sold for like 100 or 90. I still have another one listed, and it does have some damage. I actually think it has a little paint damage on the bottom, so I have not been able to move that one. I've been kind of slowly creeping the price down. I think it's at like 75 bucks now. Um, and I'm not really, or maybe it's like in the 80s still, but I'm very hesitant to just kind of fire sale it because this brand is definitely very hot still. Okay, number 17, Armini Colazzini. Now, this is the brand I picked, or the subline, because I tend to find this one the most, and I think you have the best shot of finding this. There's probably like the more fancier, like vintage Armani that's going to sell really well. But the Colazzini is a subline. It's meant to be more of an affordable price point. So the market size for that is 1,900 and 355 sold. So I guess maybe 25% sell through rate, somewhere on there. Um, and just to back up a little bit about the Colazzini, it was founded in 1977. As something to offer a more affordable prices for people. Now, there's also another line. It's called Mani, Mani, which is also a very good line from Armani. And I find a lot of resellers do miss this. I picked up a number of these in stores with other resellers. I'm not trying to knock them personally or anything, but it's just something where I think a lot of people are looking and it just doesn't automatically stick out. They're not seeing like Armani, they see Mani and they just think, eh. But that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. You find those can sell well as well. So let's move on here to another one that I find not quite often, but every once in a while. Canali. This was just in a video I did. Market size is 5,300 with 1,100 sold, so probably around 20% sell through rate, and one definitely worth keeping an eye out for. Although it's not super rare by any means, a good one here is going to fetch you $75, especially if you find like cashmere, linen, things like that. Okay, next brand here is a absolute amazing brand, Brunello Cucinelli. An absolute grab pretty much regardless. Saw one recently, and this happened about a week or two ago, where I saw one in a store, grabbed it, and it was just absolutely had so much damage. Had holes here, had a scrape on the chest, had a hole in the back. I still almost bought it because I was thinking, well, if I take this to someone and I pay him like 50, 75 bucks, they fix it up, I can sell this thing for like $300. It would still be worth it. But at the end of the day, I ended up not buying it. I just don't really think I have the time to be looking for that. That's something I definitely want to figure out in the future. Damage with some of these very high-end ones that I do find from time to time that can sell for good money. I think I found like a Gucci one a while back that had a pretty big hole. And just seeing what they can actually do. My wife was kind of knocking me for not buying it, and I could have bought it. She wanted to take a look to see if she could fix it, but I think that like it's just one of those things where I just don't need more stuff to do at this point. I've got plenty going on. So the market size for this is about 300 and about 114 sold. But again, many of these 300, 400, 500, you can get great money with these without a doubt. Okay, next one here is Etro, based out of Italy. Surprisingly, I almost never find this brand. I think I've found it like once. Market size is 591 and 115 sold. So Etro, remember that name. It's not Enro. I know there's an Enro clothing company I see from time to time. I think I always get excited because I see like the ERO, and then I have to kind of, whatever. Okay, 21, good brand here, a Brioni, 1,500 market size, 527 sold, about a 33% sell-through rate. Great one to know there. Pick it up for shirts, pick it up for pants. 22 Montclair, 85 market size, so pretty small. Probably not going to find this one very often, especially if you're thrifting a lot. 29 sold, many going over $150. Definitely one to be on the lookout for. 23 is one I think many of you are probably familiar with. Ralph Lauren Purple Label. Everyone knows this line. It's the best from Ralph Lauren. Buy it for anything really. Market size 297, 179 sold. So about like a 60% sell-through rate for blazers. Definitely really good. Number 24 is Barber, 127 market size, 57 sold. This is probably worth buying, although it's going to be closer to like that 75 range. It's not going to sell as well as like Ralph Lauren Purple Label, Brunello Cucinelli, things like that. It's not going to go for hundreds of dollars. And I think Barber, some of the stuff else you might want to consider skipping. I think the shirts don't go very well from what I recall. Last brand here, and I am probably going to do a part 2 for this. Last brand is Noah. Now, the numbers were tough to read with this brand because it was tough for me to distinguish because there was a lot of like clothing brands that put Noah in the title and stuff, and it just kind of threw it off. But it is a good brand. It kind of blends in streetwear, surf skating, and really focuses on ethically sourced materials. The person who started this brand came from Supreme, which is another really good clothing line. So Noah is the other brand, the final brand on our list. Let's go ahead and let's talk about some honorable mentions real quick, and also some other ones to be on the lookout for. Honorable mentions, Versace, Gucci. I did not put these on the list because there's a lot of fakes out there. You've got to be careful with those. Those brands tend to be faked a lot. Brooks Brothers, just a plain Brooks, not plain jacket, but Brooks Brothers is another one. You find a funky pattern, green, madras, tartan plaid, definitely can be worth picking up. Valentino Umo is one I've passed a lot of times, but this could be one possibly worth picking up. One other thing I'll say is that material does matter a lot of times with these sports coats. One type of fabric is called Harris tweed. If you do see that put into maybe not the greatest blazer in the world, it could be worth something worth picking up. A lot of people are searching for that Harris tweed. Very good tweed. Okay, so there's some other types of brands I want to mention real quick. They don't typically are known for making blazers, men's dress clothing, but they do have some blazers, and they sell very well. First one is Arc'teryx, which I think most people know just to pick up anytime you see it. Next one is Relwyn. Third is Triple Aught Design. Fourth is CC Felsen, which is an outerwear company. They make great stuff. Number 5 on this list kind of surprised me a little bit, Psycho Bunny. I've bought a number of things from them, and not a number, a couple, and they haven't really sold as quick as I thought, but they are shirts. Next one is Peter Millar. I think most people are familiar with Peter Millar. I found a blazer or two from them. I've sold. These typically go more like 50 to 60 from my experience, though. Vintage LL Bean is another one to be on the lookout for. A lot of people will miss that. You see the Freeport, Maine in the tag. I think that's how it looks on the shirts and the pants. But you see the Freeport, Maine, definitely probably worth picking up. Next one, Taylor Stitch, fantastic brand. I would pick this up pretty much regardless if you see pants, shirt, blazer, sport coat, anything like that. Carbon to Cobalt is a brand I'm starting to avoid like the plague. It just not sell at all. However, they do make blazers, and the blazers can sell well, 50 to 75. Maybe not get you that 75 mark, can get you up to 50. Last brand I'll mention here is going to be Woolrich. I did find a blazer or sport coat just out the last week or so, and I suspect I can get about 45 to 50 on this. Unfortunately, it's missing the material tag, so I think if it was wool and I knew 100% it was wool, then I would definitely have, a much better shot at getting a good price. So I do plan on doing 25 more. I'm sure there's a lot of you that are like, what about this brand or what about this? There's going to be 25 more brands I'm going to put here, or I'm going to do and do some more research on these. I should have that video up hopefully in a couple weeks, if not sooner. And I'll have some other list videos If you got value and you enjoyed this video, definitely hit the like, hit the subscribe, comment, let me know what you're picking up. Appreciate the time.